Welcome back to the Darts with Jack podcast, everybody. I know it's been a while since we have had an episode. I'm delighted to introduce Ben, aka Crutchley Darts, onto the podcast today. We've been trying to get this interview sorted for about a couple of months now, but scheduling means it hasn't happened. But we're here now. How are you today, Ben?
I'm all good, thank you, Jack, mate. How are yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. So people have no doubt, anybody who's kind of on TikTok for darts has no doubt seen your content. You know, you're on 74,000 followers and have just hit 2 million likes, which is a pretty impressive statistic to have. But before we get into that, will you take us back to when you kind of first got into darts? How did it all start?
Well, 2023 World Championships. Michael Smith was the reason I got into darts. I've always been in and around darts. My mates have liked darts, but I've never come from a family background of darts, so it's never really took like a first interest. Football had when I was younger, but darts never did. I was around my mates for New Year. I think Michael Smith was playing in the semi-finals. I was watching him. I was like, do you know what? I like this guy. Got to the finals, hit the nine darter, won the whole thing. I was like, I
Mm,
need to get a board up. So, yeah, literally from that day of him winning the final, went to Argos, bought like a cheap dartboard, a set of Winmore Tuscans, and that was me, mate. I was ready to play.
mm. Did you ever think, looking back then, that you'd gain this massive following? Do you ever think back then that was even a possibility?
Not at all, mate. It's still very surreal to the moment. Like speaking to you today, I never really started the social media stuff as an intention to get as big as what it is now. But yeah, through my line of work that I do alongside the social media, it required me to have social media knowledge. Me and my brother were watching a Sam Bratt video whilst playing darts. My brother goes, "Try it yourself, give it a go." And here we are sat now. So yeah, I think it's more so you've got to learn what you're using in terms
Yeah.
of social media. It's a very tricky thing to crack, but if you know the basis and you know the understandings, it's a lot easier to get on
Yeah.
with.
Do you think that you mentioned that, you literally you sat there watching a Sam Bratt video? Do you think it's helpful that there are so many, it is, it's a very contestable market that, darts TikTok, there's so many people doing it. Do you think it was, helpful that you had these kind of people that you could, get ideas from and kind of
100%,
influence you?
mate. Yeah, 100%. And you say it's competitive, but it's also one of the nicest spaces that
Yeah.
I've been in. I work in the fitness industry, and that's very toxic when it comes to social media side of things. So coming into this space and realizing literally how chill everybody
Mm,
is. I speak to Sam quite a bit now, which is again surreal. It's almost like a
mm.
fanboy moment in the sense that you're the reason I started recording this stuff. So yeah, it's competitive in a sense, but you're your own person. And for any advice that I give to anyone starting it up is don't try and be like someone else.
Mm,
You're your own person for a reason, and people will watch you for you. They won't watch you
yeah.
because your content's like someone else. It's
Mm.
it's very much authenticity, how you present yourself. How can you make your audience laugh or make your audience informative? So yeah, as much as it's competitive, it's a very very nice
Yeah.
space to be.
Do you, is there a moment when you started to realize that, you know, I've got a chance of kind of growing here because so many people who do kind of TikTok, whether that be for darts or for anything, they're stuck around that kind of 200, 300 follower mark. For
Yeah,
you, obviously you've grown very quickly.
yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
there,
I agree.
do you think there was almost, is there a moment that you were like, yeah, okay, I can start to grow in this space?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I had a little bit of luck on my side in terms of like videos did well. I had a good support network of people giving me sort of ideas. When I first started the content creation stuff, I didn't play outside of the house, so I didn't really have any sort of knowledge on relatability. I didn't know what happened at like pub league nights or ADC vaults, but the main thing was the consistency aspect. Throughout the summer, like we are now, it's so quiet for darts and it's so non-interactive. The people that watch your videos now are the hardcores. So it's the first kind of port of call was to get the people that watch the sport all year round
Mm,
jumping on. It's quite easy to gain a good following over Christmas because the darts is on every day. It's everyone wants to pick up a dart, everyone wants to
yeah.
jump on a dartboard. So trying to build a consistent base throughout the quieter times allowed for an easier sort of December, January, February because
Mm,
in the hardcore sort of fans that they were already aware of who I was. And TikTok's a funny game, mate. It's very good with its algorithms in the sense that to follow someone, it's a tiny little plus button
Yeah.
under your profile, and there's probably countless of hundreds of thousands of people that have probably misclicked the ad button,
Yeah.
and that's the look that you have to look towards, and it's the fortune that you get in the game. And
Mm.
other social medias have done well. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a case of TikTok's so easy to farm
Yeah.
engagement because it's for the short dopamine person.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I think it's it's such a tough industry in the sense, and I think you make such a good point with the summer being such a kind of. Don't get me wrong, you've got the match play, but people don't know about it. You know, people who have a board in their garage or something are watching the Worlds, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Do you think that's why potentially some creators stand out from others because some have consistency, some are uploading daily or just all year round, whereas some are
I
kind of
think,
only hopping on the trends at kind of the right times. Do you think that's kind of what sets different people apart?
yeah, 100%. I think you've got to have a liking to the game or sport, whatever you decide to call it. Because if you don't enjoy darts in general, it's a lot harder to make the content. I love playing darts, so it's really just as simple as sticking a tripod up, throwing until an idea comes into my head, and filming it. Basically, it's especially on the YouTube side of things. Obviously, the launches help us. We can promote new products, etc. But trying to create authentic content in a time where there's not really anything to relate to. Obviously, we've got the World Cup coming up in a couple of weeks, which will be a nice little boost in a sense. But once the World Cup's finished again, the decline's going to come straight back down. So it's just about entertaining the people that like darts and not trying to push your content to people that are new to darts because it's all
Mm.
about reading the audience at the right time, I think.
When you're filming your content, you mentioned that often you just get an idea, it pops into your head, and you film it. Does that where the majority of your ideas come from, or is it a mix? Are there times where you've almost got like a layout of what exactly you want to record and upload?
I think again, it's all subjective to the content that I'm going to be posting, mate. To be fair, I think I'm quite fortunate to be working with a few brands, and they send me their stuff out to have a little play with and stuff. So it's a lot easier to create content from that. I could be sat here with you, an idea might pop in my head, and I'll pick up my phone and write it in my notes. I could just be playing darts. I'll stick up my tripods and just hit record. If something happens, great. I can use something from it. I could be playing darts with my brother. He could say something, or we could have a laugh about something, and then I
Mm,
can create it into a video. I think I'm very particular in the sense that I can pick stuff up and
mm,
create something from it. I'm not someone that could go, right, I'm going to sit down now and just think of like 5 video ideas because
yeah.
within 5 minutes I'd be bored and I'd be stood doing something else. So in terms of like trying to lock in and think of video ideas, that's just not me. I've got to
Hmm.
be doing something active, or someone's got to actively say something to me to
Yeah.
just kind of register in the brain and say, yeah, I want to do this.
Mm. How important do you think actually being good at the game is? Because there are some of the TikTokers in the darts industry who are throwing kind of, the 75, the 80 average. And there are some where like me, who are chucking the old 45. How important do you think actually being good at the game is for content
I, I
creation?
I don't think it's important. I think how you perceive yourself and how honest you are with yourself is a different story. Like I've never proclaimed to be good at darts. I sit probably between a 58 and a 60 average, which in some people's eyes might be good, and in some people's eyes it's like beginner level. But I've always made it transparent and clear to my audience that I don't claim to be good at darts, and anything that I advise is something that's worked for me. Like I started out for someone that was averaging 36, 37, 38 consistently, and I've managed to add 20 points onto my average. Now, if I started at a 60 average and built to an 80 average, I don't feel like I'd be taken as seriously. You'd be taken more serious if you were a high average because it's a numbers game. And I very quickly found out through playing ADC Volts, averages mean nothing. I averaged 103 the other day and lost 2-0. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because doubles really is the main thing. I think if you try and perceive yourself better than what you are, people aren't going to take you seriously. If you're honest with how your darting ability is, it's more relatable. You know, if someone's a 45 average and displays their content online and is open and honest as a 45 average, there's people all around the world that are playing darts at a 45 average, so it's relatable for them and they can relate to that person. So,
Mm.
you know, if you're going on a live stream or displaying content that's of a 45 average, but you're proclaiming yourself as 60, 70 average, people aren't going to take you seriously because it's
Yeah.
like, well, how's this guy throwing like 30 dart legs, 35 dart legs, yet proclaiming that he's, you know, on average hitting 18 dart legs. I think if
Mm.
you're honest with yourself, people will take you a lot more seriously. And to the original question, your darting ability really doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you're honest with yourself.
You mentioned the ADC vaults there. Such kind of a pivotal kind of pillar of amateur darts. You know, the opportunities they provide for everybody are brilliant. You know, there's pretty much wherever you are in the country, there is an ADC vault near you. Where, you know, if you look at that kind of 3 years ago and go, was there an ADC vault near you? I guarantee there wasn't. That shows the
No,
rise of darts. How much
yeah.
do you think that those opportunities not only give you ideas for content creation, but actually kind of, you know, push you to do it more because you're getting out, you're getting kind of that real life experience of the game?
Well, to be honest with you, Jack, I've only ever played outside my house 6 times. So this
Wow.
past 6 weeks is the only like I've branched out. Anxiety is a massive pivotal part,
Yeah.
which is crazy to say because I display myself on camera all the time. But being around a social situation
Yeah.
really, really like it's an uncomfortable part, and I think part of me has always wanted to do it, but there's just been that invisible barrier to say, nah, just
Yeah.
carry on playing darts in your bedroom. And I think one Tuesday night, mate, I went on Darts Atlas and there was a tournament near me, and I thought, "Do you know what? What have I got to lose? Realistically,
Yeah.
what have I got to lose?" Went and played it. It was just like a little round robin thing. Got speaking to people there. Again, like I say, the space is so nice. Like people will speak
Mm.
to you regardless of whether you've seen them 10 times or one time. And they showed me about these vaults and said that there was one on the Sunday. So yeah, signed up for the year on Darts Atlas. Put my £6 in to play the ADC vault. I was probably the most nervous I've ever been.
Yeah.
Played nothing like I do in my bedroom here. But
That
it was
that
it
that
was grounding.
that's probably quite a refreshing experience, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That you're going outside of what is your comfort zone, and to play in this kind of it is high pressure. The vaults, you can't
yeah,
mess up. They're very much, you get
no,
your chance and you've got to take it.
yeah, yeah.
Do you, that must have been, as I mentioned, quite refreshing for you, though.
It was grounding in a sense because it taught me that I probably wasn't as good as what I thought I was outside of the
Mm.
house. You know, I thought I could probably replicate slightly what I do here in my bedroom outside. No way. I couldn't do it. I mean, last night was my fifth vault. It's the first time that I've made it through the groups, and it's probably honestly the first time I've actually felt comfortable the whole way through.
Yeah.
Scoring wise, you know, I'd say the first two vaults I was like shaky hands all the time. The third vault, scoring wise, a little bit easy. As soon as I got
Mm.
under that 200 score, again the shaky hands had come.
Yeah.
And last night was the first time I kind of felt comfortable as such. So yeah, it's definitely increased my confidence playing darts, but just speaking to people of all different ages, of all different like backgrounds,
Mm.
and you know, again, surreal people coming up to me and saying that they've got into darts because they watched my content, or
Yeah.
that they've, you know, even that they've just watched my stuff. That's still madly surreal to me, and it
Mm.
sits in the back of my mind that, you know, even though I've struggled to come outside the house and play, I've still
Mm.
managed to help someone, and I think
Yeah.
that's a massive thing for me without realizing. But yeah, I'm going to play as many vaults as I can, try and get into as many tournaments because
Mm.
it's definitely sparked a lot more ideas content wise. You know, I was
Yeah.
there at the vault last night and I'd got 3 videos in my notes section
Yeah.
ready to post. So yeah, because you see so many different people, so many different players, so many different throws,
Mm.
and it's a very eye opening experience. And at the start, a very humbling experience.
Mm. Is there like a specific time or a specific video in on your channel, not on your channel on TikTok, that kind of made you go, yeah, you know what, I'm starting to get there now. People are watching my content fully. Is there a specific video that almost gives you that feeling?
I wouldn't say specific video, no. There was a specific time.
Yeah.
I was doing a good bit of like charity work
Yeah.
Not going into too much detail. One of my best mates was diagnosed with cancer. He's passed away now,
Mm.
unfortunately. And he loved darts. He was probably one of the biggest fans coming
Mm.
into supporting it. There's a fear of starting TikTok and your mates taking the mick out of you,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
understandably it's part of life, but there's also that level of respect and that level of support,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
he was that person. So, I did a bit of charity work for him, obviously through my social medias. That ramped up a good few views and a good few likes, but it got
Mm.
people channeling into the content.
Yeah.
There was about 3 or 4 videos in the back end of November that hit a few, high 6-figure views.
Mm.
Just stupid videos though, mate. Like just
Yeah.
something that would take like 10 seconds to make. Like, how many darts can I hit in the 20 segment consistently? And I just throw one dart in the one, and that's it. Bang, 600,000 views. It's like, for something that I've put 10 seconds of my time into,
Yeah.
return is ridiculous. Yet I could sit here and edit a video like thoroughly, make sure all clean edits and stuff for like an hour, and it'll get like 2,000 views. I think brilliant.
Yeah, I was
It's
just gonna pick
it's
up on
it's
that.
very frustrated.
And you obviously, you ventured into YouTube. I'm looking here.
Yeah,
You're very close to 7,000 subscribers, which on YouTube, that's a lot. It takes a lot of time for
yeah,
people to gain a following on YouTube compared to TikTok, for example, where
massively. Yeah,
you can gain
yeah,
thousands in a day. One lucky video on TikTok,
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
off. On YouTube, it's so different. Have you found that tricky having to venture into YouTube with the longer form content?
No, because
Mm.
longer form content, I've always enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed going into detail with stuff. I find, especially with like products and like darts and stuff, I'm fascinated by it. But trying
Mm.
to fit it into like 30 seconds, 40 seconds on a TikTok video, it's not feasible. I
Yeah,
can't do
it's a
it.
good point,
It's
that.
so hard to cram in. So fortunately, I knew a few lads that do YouTube already, but in a different like avenue, completely different to darts. And I just said to them, look, you've obviously started out as a completely newcomer in the field that you are and doing really well. What's your advice? And he just said, just upload consistently. Like, you will find your consistent base. And
Mm.
he said, take your TikTok following, minus that by like 100%. And if you've got that amount of subscribers on TikTok, on a YouTube, you're doing well. And
Mm.
7,000 compared to 70,000, it's not too
Yeah,
not
that's
too bad in
good.
that
That.
sense. And the community that I've got on YouTube is spot on, mate. It's really really
Mm.
good. I've got such a dedicated sort of base of people that come back to watch the videos
Mm.
regardless of the year, regardless of the time. And it's such a good space for other people as well. I feel like it's a good
Mm.
way for me to express my personal darts journey as well as going into detail with certain darts, because
Yeah.
ultimately, if you want to buy a dart, you know exactly what you want to buy, don't you?
Mm. One thing that I find really interesting about your videos is very often your thumbnails or like your covers on TikTok are really, high quality, and I do think they draw people in. I'm just
Yeah,
looking here, like simply your most viewed video on YouTube, which is called 5 Dart Tips to Help You Improve Instantly, which has got
yeah,
74,000 views. The thumbnail is so simple but so effective. How important do you
yeah.
think it is to actually market your content?
I didn't think it would be at the start. I didn't
Mm.
realize how important just that face picture was. I now have a good friend of mine helping me out.
Mm.
Mr. Lee Darts on TikTok. He's a good lad. He sorts my thumbnails out for me now. He's a graphic designer, so yeah, I reached out to him and he does my thumbnails for me.
Yeah.
Very appreciative of it. It's allowed him to come out of the woodworks and express a passion that he's had. But
Yeah.
yeah, back to that most viewed video. That's my attempt of a little cut
Yeah.
like thumbnail. I think I was trying to overcomplicate it. I must have had about 4 different drafts of that single thumbnail. I thought, you know what?
Mm.
If I was watching a video, I want the most simple thing,
Yeah.
and that's all it is. And it's done like you said, it's done good numbers. To be fair, I think it's my most viewed video on there so far.
Yeah, it is. By 51,000 views. So
Yeah,
like
it's
it's a
crazy,
big
isn't it?
margin.
So yeah, hopefully, I've only been doing YouTube not even a year. I think it's been like 8 months, 9 months. So I think going back round into this Christmas push with a few more subscribers, hopefully
Yeah,
we can have a good period. I'd love to get 10K by the end of the year. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's a
doable,
nice little
very
goal to work
doable.
towards.
Mm. How important do you think getting the right balance is between dedicating your time to your short form content and dedicating time to your long form content? Because I know when you're producing short form content, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, you can think of something, knock it out in 10 seconds, and just press the upload button. With
Yeah,
YouTube, there's so many processes you got to go through with the editing, as you
yeah.
mentioned, thumbnail and that. So, how important do you think it is to almost get that correct balance and kind of work out what your
Um,
viewers want?
I think it's again, it's all down to enjoyment, mate.
Mm.
I'd never ever push onto people to do something they don't enjoy. I love editing long form content. I love making long
Yeah.
form content. So if I'm honest, that is my priority. As much as it is the lower following compared to the TikTok and YouTube, I still get so much more enjoyment. And
That's interesting.
I think for me to sit down on my laptop and edit a video for 45 minutes, I get so much satisfaction out of that because I know that I've done it myself, and I
Hmm.
know that regardless of how good or bad someone else perceives it, I know that it's my work. And I
Mm.
think I'll try and keep to that as much as possible. It's difficult over the Christmas period because there's launches coming out every other day. There's video ideas pinging into your
Yeah.
head left, right, and centre. There's something happening every single day at the world. So to try and keep up with it all the time alongside a full-time job, it is quite difficult. But
Yeah.
it's remote, mate. Like I'm very fortunate to have a supportive family, supportive girlfriend, in the sense that they want to jump on it just as much as me. Like my
Yeah.
missus will be watching me play darts, and she'll ping a video idea in my head, and then she'll be like,
Mm.
"Oh, do you want me to film it for you? Do you want me to film it for you?" And little bits like that. It's good to have, and I'm very fortunate to have a good supportive network, and time where we do wind of an evening. My missus reads, so I can just crack on and edit, but we're still in each other's
Yeah.
company. It's a nice little, I don't have to go away and do it. It's not a physical sort of demand,
Mm.
and it's just as easy as saving the edit, closing my laptop lid, and that's it. Like I can just revisit it another
Yeah.
time. There's no real demand. The short format stuff, like you said, it takes about 2 minutes to edit on my
Yeah.
phone. If it's a short video, there's a few videos obviously you put a lot more effort into in the
Yeah.
sense of visual aspects, but I kind of just do that alongside the
Mm.
YouTube, mate. Just have two tabs open, and when I get bored of doing one, I'll do the other.
Yeah. And what's next for you then? What's next for Crutchley Darts? Any kind of big ideas? Anything that you want to push? Are you kind of realigning any focus of videos?
So I started Dart Shop Diaries last year, which
Mm.
is just me going around dart shops in the UK. I really want to crack on with that heavily this year. I've got the start of a few episodes will come out this week. I've got a lot more filming to be doing with
Hmm.
that. It's something that I was passionate about beforehand. It was one of the video ideas that my mate came up with, and I thought, you know what an idea, we'll go
Yeah.
for it. So I think, yeah, I really want to push on with that, make that a good series, make that a series that's able to bring in a few more views for the dart shops. I don't do it for my gain. I do it for theirs because there's never really any coverage of dart shops on YouTube, and I feel like it's a gap in the market that I could really get into. So
Mm.
yeah, push on with that. Just keep enjoying myself, mate. If opportunities come, take them with as much chance as I can take them
Yeah.
with, and make as much content as possible, mate. Obviously, I'd love to do this full time, but you've got to be realistic and tell yourself
Oh
that
yeah.
the chances of that being full time is very slim. But the harder you work, the more easy it
Mm.
will become to achieve, I guess.
Is there a dart shop that stands out for you that you visited so far?
Um, there's loads of dart shops that stand
Mm.
out, mate. I think they all stand out in their unique way, and I think that's exactly why I do this series.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone could look at a shop and go, "That's not for me," and then
Mm.
you could look at another shop and go, "That's probably the best dart shop I've ever been to." Yet the next person you ask could say exactly the difference to what you've just said
Yeah.
beforehand. And I think, obviously how a shop presents themselves is good in terms of graphics and
Mm.
the displays, but the most important thing is the people that work behind the desk, mate. I think the guys over at Dart Scene, absolutely amazing guys. The
Yeah.
guys at Midlands Darts, unreal guys. There's a new dart shop that's opened near me in Burton. Amazing owners. Pretty much every dart shop I've been to, they've been so accommodating to me in the
Yeah.
sense that they've not treated me like someone that's come to film, they've treated me like a customer, and that's
Mm.
exactly what I want. You know, it gives me a transparent view to portray to my audience, and it's a series that I will never jeopardize any company for. Like, you know, people work so hard to get these
Yeah.
darts out, and it's such a demanding and competitive business. And this time of year, it's really, really difficult to try and get new people through the door. So,
Mm.
you know, if a few thousand views on YouTube brings a bit of light to their shop that people will travel and go to, then, you know, my job's done in that sense.
Mm.
I don't want anything back from them, because I love going to dart shops, mate. I love darts, so it's a nice little
Yeah.
enjoyment factor for me. It's like being a kid back in the day in a toy shop. You know, it's nice to see what people do differently. You know,
Mm.
maybe one day I'll open up a dart shop myself. But yeah,
I think that's
it's
everyone's aim, isn't it?
I
Everybody,
think so.
it'd be
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
It would. It would.
Well, if it's okay with you, mate, we're gonna end off the interview with some quick fire questions.
Yeah, that's just right.
Is there a player at the moment that you're enjoying watching more than others?
Enjoying watching more than others. Sebastian Bielecki.
Great shout,
I
brilliant
love,
shout.
mate. His throw is so therapeutic. I just
Mm.
think if he was just a little bit more consistent, he'd be up there. He'd be up
Oh,
there, very, very,
absolutely.
very solidified. I think, yeah, he's someone that I can get behind in terms of
Mm.
a niche dart player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your favourite double?
For anyone that I can hit, mate. I'm looking at a dartboard now, and I'll always veer towards 16s and
Hmm.
8s. So
Yeah, I'm
I'll say
eight
towards
time.
16.
Um, if you could play at any darts event, what darts event would you play at?
In terms of like match play, worlds,
Match
etc.
play,
Oh,
championships, modus, anything like that.
I don't know. You say that their Modus finals nights look
Yeah, they
buzzing,
look
to be
boss.
fair, but I think you can't turn down the opportunity to play at Ali Pali, can you?
No,
At the
absolutely
World
not.
Championships, you can't
I
turn
agree.
down that.
Um,
Um,
yeah. I don't see why you would. Ali Pali's brilliant. I've been there once. Hopefully, going
I
again this
do.
year.
Nice.
Um, is there you know a massive part of the darts is kind of the event itself is a bit of not an exhibition, but that's how people market themselves.
Yeah.
Is there a dart shirt in particular that you see someone wear which you like particularly?
It's all right. Yeah, Johnny Clayton. So Red Dragons sent me their like new player line shirt. So
Mm.
I think it was Jan, Luke, Johnny, and Gezi. That was it.
Mm.
And Johnny's shirt, mate, just the red and black contrast.
Oh, it's
That Welsh
brilliant.
dragon that goes through it, mate. It's spot on. And seeing it in the
Yeah.
in the Premier League, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, my whole family love Johnny Clayton and his shirt in particular, so it's a
Yeah,
brilliant shout.
love
Um,
that.
if you could pair up for like a pairs tournament with any content creator in particular, who would you choose?
We're completely going off non-darting ability here, by the way, purely
Yeah,
just for laughs. And I'm going to say Dicko's darts. He's a lovely lad. He's a great laugh. I get on with him very, very well.
yeah.
We wouldn't be very good when it comes to the darting ability, but yeah,
No, I
he's a
love
very
Mikey.
sound lad.
He lives
Yeah,
he lives about 10 minutes away from me. Brilliant guy.
he's a top lad.
Mm. And finally, the question that I ask everybody who comes on the podcast: would you rather win the World Cup of Darts with like your best darting friend? It could be your brother, could be Mikey, it could be any
Yeah,
content creator, or would you rather win the World Championship by yourself?
world champs by myself, 100%.
And
100%.
any reason why?
Um, I wouldn't want the daunting factor of someone else carrying me. I
I
feel
like
like
that. Good
if I've
answer.
done the world championships, it's done by myself, and
Mm,
no one else has carried me. No one else has given me the opportunity to get to the final where I could have had a bad game, etc. Like in the
mm,
world, it's cutthroat. If I play a
ruthless.
bad game, that's it. I'm gone. So if I've won the worlds, I've won it by me, and
I
I've not
like
been
that.
carried by anyone else. So
That's a brilliant answer to that question.
yeah,
Well, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It is
no problem at all,
massively
mate.
appreciated, and I'm sure the fans are going to really appreciate hearing
Yeah,
your
I'm
view
glad
on the
we've
world of
managed
darts and
to
content
get it done,
creation.
mate. Eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long time coming, this.
Yeah, good man. Good man.